All right, so Andrew just brought up automation, and ironically, that's our next topic. So I think it was Andy that mentioned something about task flow. So automation, workflow, and John just said the key word a second ago. So in 30 seconds or less, Philip, I'm going to start with you. What does automation and workflow mean to you, and how do you utilize it?
So when I think about automation, I think about maximization. We want to be maximizers. We'd rather spend the time to build out some sort of automation process so it runs and makes our lives easier, so we save time in the long run. And that's been tough to do because it takes time and thought, and there's things that change. Now there's some things that are very easy to do. And I haven't cracked that nut because it's time and energy, but there's some things that we've done. We've used Process Street where an application comes in, it creates and runs the checklist by using Zapier. And then the checklist has everything that needs to be done and some automation in there, the templated emails to go out. We've done that. That's pretty rudimentary, but it is a start. And as you get into it, you want to tweak it a little bit more, and you can spend a lot of time tweaking it. And that's why I love property management, because there's always a problem to solve. There's always something like I'm up at night thinking this could go a little bit easier. So that's automation to me.
Awesome. Andy.
Yeah, the automate, it's about maximizing efficiency for me. It's twofold. It's maximizing efficiency, and whether you can do that with labor or you can do it with tech, or a combination of both. So that's hugely important to me, and it's something that we've been doing all of this year. And then it's the actual, for me as the broker CEO, it's more about the oversight for me. Actually, once you have those protocols in place and you have those workflows in place, you can actually see whether it's being done or not. And I think I've got strong ideas on this industry on how we got to where we are, and the transition from where we're going to. And I think a lot of it has to do with oversight, dashboards, task management.
Very good. John.
Yeah, definitely the things that Philip and Andy said are right on there. One thing I would add to that is one thing that I like is the continuity of communication. So we've moved to, you might not necessarily see this until you move to like a virtual assistant. My previous job is now being somewhat run by a virtual assistant. And we were able to do that because we've built the communication platforms that automatically go out so that his communications that he sends out is actually based on the exact way that we want that verbiage to be sent out, because we have forms that are the specific communications. And so everything has a preset way of speaking. So if you automate something, yes, he can respond to all those emails, but I know that at least the initial conversation starter for every single step of that process is going to be something that we've already gone through. We agree that verbiage is good. It's exactly what we want to communicate and how we want to communicate with our clients and tenants. And so it's good to go. So you have that continuity of communication. I don't have to worry about a VA saying something necessarily that's not the communication that we want. With forms and with automated communication, you can also make sure that the data is right. You know, all of a sudden you have an email that goes out to the wrong owner just because you manually went in and tried to create an email to that owner or thinking that it was a different property or something like that. With automation, it knows which owner is the right owner to send it to. It creates that communication and sends it out. So automation allows you to be able to, I think, avoid some of the errors, assuming all of your information is right in your software. It allows you to avoid some of those errors, human errors.
Yeah. Well, as we say in my office, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes, very much so.
Michael?
All right, I feel like I need a John and an Andy on my team, because no one on our team has stepped up as someone who's able to automate processes yet. So for us, we've been, me and my business partner, Adam, neither one of us are good at this. This is one of our weaknesses. So we're looking for that person who can implement this type of thing. So far, any automation of processes has been done through out of the box software. So just stuff that you can buy or pay for. But we haven't designed anything ourselves. So we use Tenant Turner to kind of do automated lead follow-up and that kind of thing. And we use property melds for our work orders so that our property managers have that kind of workflow and constant follow-up on the work orders. But other than that, we have pretty much no process automation. Old-fashioned, we use checklists, we have written processes, and we use labor for that. So other than that, one day we're going to do some automation. There's no doubt about it. So right now we're focusing on our strength, which is expanding the company and business.
Awesome. Well, Michael just kind of hit my second question, which was really just listing some of the software that's your favorite. You know, if you had to build your toolbox and put all these little bolts in and pieces, what software is your favorite? And so, Andy, back to you. I obviously heard you talk about automation. What are you using specifically for workflow, task management, that type of stuff?
So we've moved to, in the last 3 months, we've been onboarding a company called RentBridge. Those in the industry might know of them. We were looking for a platform that could, every facet of our business could integrate with. So rather than training people specifically on the maintenance side of things, the annual rentals, the vacation rentals, marketing, everything flows through the one system. And the data is extracted from the, I guess, like 15 platforms that property managers typically uses, and they're operating on one main platform. So we've used that, and it just gives us the opportunity to make sure that we're the individuals responsible for tasks are actually doing them, how they're doing them, how long it takes to do them. And again, the data gives us so much insight into, do we need to hire, who's pulling their weight, and it's become, the last 3 months has been having that oversight when we're actually not physically in the office together. I don't know how we would have done it if previous to this.
Right.
So it's been a game changer for us.
Good. Pamela, the name of that software is called RentBridge. RentBridge.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So over to John. Just list some software that you're using to automate.
Yeah. Since I started, I've been working with Sarasota Management and Leasing now for 6 years. I helped bring in 8 new software platforms, and we still consistently use all of them. So we use ShowMojo for our leasing automation. We use Zapier for a lot of the just general automation. I would say the general automation stuff that I do, dashboards and things like that, run parallel between G Suite and Zapier. For me, if you want to be able to see each step of the process and your steps in the process are unique, then you need to have a software that can show you exactly what those steps are and that they're completed. And nothing's easier to build than a good old fashioned spreadsheet dashboard. And with the connected nature of Google Sheets and their online platform, I can automate a lot of things with their platform and be able to stay connected with things like that. We brought in DocuSign. We were sitting down and signing every single lease with tenants every time that we sign leases. So that's been something that has saved a lot of time and effort. Rent Manager. We have Property Meld for maintenance, Lead Simple for new owner onboarding, and Slack for office communications. And all those are things that we brought in since I started.
Good. Philip.
Okay, I was writing those down, so I didn't repeat because I use some of the same stuff. But a couple of the highlights: Z Inspector. Well, it's not for automation, but just tech-wise, Z Inspector is great, especially if you have in-house, maintenance type stuff. Because anytime anybody goes to the property, that timeline is captured in Z Inspector. I love that product. Use Process Street to build out your checklist, and you can automate from there with some built-ins using Zapier or Zapier. The only other one that I think for the e-signing, and it just kind of hit my brain, is if HelloSign has a product called HelloWorks. And I really love that you can build out the questions for the owners to fill out for your form. And literally, I can send you a management agreement by putting in owner's name, email address, the percentage, the lease up fee, and hit send. And they can do the rest. Instead of, it takes me 2 seconds. I could send it all to you. And then I've built out the lease that way, where it's just kind of, it's a really attractive build out. And I don't think many property managers have looked at that. And I think it's free for like 100 transactions a month. So HelloWorks, you have to be a little bit, techie on the back end just to make sure your forms and everything lines up correctly. But it's a time saver and it's nice. And some things, if there's only one signer, you can have links on your website. It's just a different way to go about it when you're on the fly and you need to get some sort of form that you use all the time to someone. And that one's a winner.
Perfect. Michael.
I think we're going to cover all NARPM software vendors here. So a couple that have been missed that we use are Second Nature, who Shannon's obviously on the call here, or was. They're an awesome partner. We should make about $30,000 this year in extra fees using Second Nature, so nice little bonus. We also use Point Central and recently implemented that. Works great, especially on our multifamily doors. It's very helpful to have that automation and added bonus. Plus, we can make some money on that as well. And then lastly, I had another one, but it's escaping me. If I think of it, I'll put it in the chat or something.
Awesome.